This podcast was originally live-streamed on the Non Sequitur Show on YouTube. New episodes air weekdays, Monday through Friday, at 8 p.m. Eastern at youtube.com/nonsequitorshow. Make sure you never miss a live stream by visiting www.nonsexshow.com/schedule. For the latest news, polls and updates throughout the day, follow us on Twitter @nonsexshow or facebook.com/nonsexshow. That's NONSEQ show. If you'd like to get exclusive content, bi-weekly private hangouts with Kyle and Steve, backstage access to chat with guests after shows hosted on your channel and much more, become a Patreon saint of Non Sequitur. It ensures we continue to improve our show and brings you into the process at the same time. Visit patreon.com/nonsequitur today while the limited spots are still available.
The following podcast is intended for those who believe bold ideas are righteous, unique perspectives are gospel, and strong opinions are sacred. This is Non Sequitur. Never follow. And now, here are your hosts, Kyle Curtis and Steve McRae.
Well, if you're like me, you look forward to the day after Thanksgiving for one particular reason. Well, two, actually. One would be Black Friday, which I survived last night. The other would be this now begins the unlimited Christmas music that plays on radio stations. I love Christmas music. Steve, you don't look like you look like Scrooge over there.
Dude. Okay, you got to remember, I spent years in retail, right? So I had to listen to Christmas music all day long, 8 to 12-hour days some days. And there was one time for 3 years, all we had was one CD, a Mariah Carey's Christmas caroling, whatever. If I hear Mariah Carey sing about Christmas one more time, I'm going to lose my shit, okay? So just straight up, I'm telling you, Christmas music, not my thing.
Oh, man. I was jamming out till getting ready. All I Want for Christmas Is You, yes, Mariah Carey.
No, that's it. No, I'm done. No.
Anyway, welcome everybody. Glad you came back. We missed you. Well, I actually saw you guys yesterday. Steve missed you yesterday, but we hope you guys had a fantastic Thanksgiving. I hope that you all weigh 10 more pounds than you did the day before, so that I don't feel isolated and alone as the only one that did, because I ate a ton. But let's say hello to our guest for this evening, returning to the show, regular. He's been here, I think this is your probably like 9th time on here, Dr. Bowen. But Dr. Joshua Bowen from Digital Hammurabi.
How you guys doing?
man, a few words. How's it going?
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, did you want me to give an introduction?
Did we wake you, Josh? I mean, is it bothersome to you? Did you have other plans tonight?
Get him a Red Bull.
No, I'm really appreciate you guys having me back on.
He's still angry at us for Monday, I think, with the salt.
I don't blame
salt thing.
Do you blame it for that? I'd be angry at us too.
I don't.
Oh man.
And joining us for the first time is Clark Isaac, who is the Civil Liaison Officer for the, and I hope I get this correct, Ecumenical Order of Christ. Is that correct?
That is correct, and it's a pleasure to be of service.
Excellent. I'm just going to run through a couple of things that we've got coming up, and then we'll jump right in. Big weekend this weekend. Tomorrow we have a private hangout for our patrons. You will get to see who is the winners for the Golden Nuns. We're going to hold you to secrecy, but you guys are going to be coming on to the Golden Nuns and helping us present these awards on Sunday. and voting's over. It's all cast. The die is cast, as Julius Caesar said. The winners are in. So a lot of surprises, a lot of it's an interesting way that you guys voted. So I look forward to seeing how that turns out on Sunday. After the private Patreon, we have At Homies at 7, and then at 9:00 we're having another Saturday night fight. This time it's going to be between Red's Rhetoric and Brother Ernest. And if you don't know who Brother Ernest is, he loves T-shirts. He owns the website nasalies.org, and he's just a character. And it's going to be fantastic. So join us for that. And then on Sunday, Golden Nuns, we're going to do the Smoking Nun the hour before. It's kind of like a little pre-show. But you can join me and Katie for that an hour early on Sunday. Steve, anything that you need to
real quick, Brother Ernest, that's the guy that thinks Bruce Lee didn't exist, right?
Right. Or
that's somebody else.
He was a hoax. He was a government created.
Bruce Lee was a hoax.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Wrap your mind around that.
I've got a lot to live up to with that topic in mind.
Yeah. Those who have walked before you, sir. Those who have walked before you.
Whether or not any of us exist, the topic for this evening.
Oh, I love that topipic. I do.
Valley now. Speaking of that, before we actually begin, Steve, didn't you have a picture or something that you wanted
to? After you showed the pictures.
Okay.
Don't you have some pictures?
Well, I got a before the shows, we usually get everybody to send in their presentations or slides if they're going to use anything, because it's really difficult on vMix to screen share. There's not, for some reason, they don't have a function in this system, and it's a super expensive system. You'd think that they would have all the bells and whistles, but they just don't have a screen share function. And so there's two ways that we go about that. We can either desktop capture a call in Discord and let them share the screen there, or if they trust us enough, usually with the Flat Earth, they don't trust us enough to send us their stuff ahead of time. They think we're going to disseminate it out and expose the mind-blowing model that they've created. But those I was looking through the ones that Clark sent over, and an interesting name of one of the files just caught my attention, and it's because it was my name, and it was a meme about me that the Ecumenical Order of Christ has put together, and it's actually quite flattering in an odd way. So I'm gonna put it up there so you guys can see the meme that they did. It says Kyle Curtis, the host of the Non Sequitur Show, on the left, and then Jean-Baptiste Emmanuel Zorg, the Fifth Element villain, secretly working for the ultimate evil. Is Kyle Curtis actually Jean-Baptiste Emmanuel Zorg? You decide. Well, the hair.
I've been saying that for years. That looks.
The hair
certainly. You are the ultimate evil.
I have to. Yes. It was this your inspiration was the hair, or because I am literally the evil, working for the evil?
Well, if I was to disclose that to you, then we would lose our advantage. So I don't think I'm at liberty to discuss that.
Good deal.
Makes sense.
I like the mystery.
You don't want to give the adversary any ground, right? Exactly.
Yeah, I like the mystery anyway. So
Bruce Willis would never volunteer any information to Zorg, not at any point.
That's true. I can't hate on that. I really can't. So Clark, why don't you kind of introduce yourself and let everybody know what a civil liaison officer does and who it's for. Like, ultimately, we're talking about a larger group here, and you can kind of introduce who that larger group is and kind of what they believe a little bit. Just give us an introduction to you and the Ecumenical Order of Christ.
Okay, so my role as civil liaison officer is that I speak on behalf of the clergy without actually being clergy, and clergy is another name for priesthood, the priesthood of Lord Rayel. So this is also on behalf of Lord Rayel, in so much as I can achieve that goal. It is a lofty goal at that. But the distinction is very important between this liaison officer role and the role of clergy or priesthood. Now, for 2,000 years, every utterance of the word apostles the words from apostles has been used as a form of dogma. And we're here to make sure people are painfully aware of the risk involved with the time that it takes to make a public statement. And because I am non-clergy, there's an important distinction there that affords me the opportunity to speak with you in a general sense and a little bit of banter on the side without the public taking my words as doctrine. That would be the case if I was clergy, and that is not the case. So not all of my words should be taken as gospel, so to speak, but the primary reason we do this for interviews is because we are exactly who we say we are, and we take the responsibility of our words and our positions as seriously as history has dictated that we must. So I've taken upon this position to fulfill this role that you see me in today.
Okay, and what is the Ecumenical Order of Christ? And you mentioned Lord Rayel. Can you kind of give us a brief history of how this came to be? You know, there was some big events that happened a couple years back. Can you kind of walk us through that and how we got here to this point?
Okay. Well, the clergy of Lord Rayel, the Ecumenical Order of Christ, is the restored priesthood of prophecy that Christ would return. And this is according to the book of Levi in chapter 5, if you want to look it up. You can Google it if you want. It's one of those books that was left out of the Bible for a very specific reason. And that's because the prophecies in there about certain weeks or generations of people are so accurate about the end times. And this particular prophecy calls for a restoration of the priesthood after the falling away of the previous priesthood, which is also known as the Roman Catholic Church. So essentially, the role that we fulfill is that which the Christ would have expected of all priesthood or apostles while he was alive 2,000 years ago, and that is fulfilled today.
And so, essentially, I want to make sure that we get the distinction right, because if you were to Google Lord Rayel, you get the sense that he is actually the reincarnation of Jesus, or that's a thing that is thrown out there. Can you clarify that on what actually Lord Rayel, like the divine spirit, I guess, that embodies Lord Rayel, and how that came to be?
Okay, so with that, I would first like to introduce video footage of what occurred on January 28th, 2011. I believe you have a video queued up.
Yep. Dave?
Could you go ahead and play that?
Sure.
What was in the skies over Jerusalem? And why did it stop over one of the most treasured sites in Christianity?
We've seen them in Mississippi like this, but never like
Well, if you surf around online today, and it probably will not be long before you come across footage of a UFO in the skies over Jerusalem. Now it is sparking intense debate on the internet. Trace Gallagher following this live from our West Coast News. So the question is, what was that UFO? What was it doing over Jerusalem? And, is he back?
Yeah, and that is the question, by the way, Megan, because, critics, it's difficult for them to dismiss this because there are so many different angles. We've got 4 different videos, all from various perspectives, showing this light above the Dome on the Rock. In Jerusalem, the Temple Mount, of course, we know, which is a holy site for both Jews and Muslims. You see the shining ball of light, right? It's above there. It's kind of, well, they just froze it and really can't see it now. But there it is right there. It's at the top of the screen. Yeah. It's up there, and it hovers, kind of a pulsating orb. And then hold on here because this thing starts going down right toward, you see it there, going down toward the Dome of the Rock in the Temple Mount, and then it stops. And it hovers there for a while. It kind of sits there, and then all of a sudden it shoots straight back up into the air. Whoa. Now, experts say this would be kind of an indication this is an unmanned. There it is. You saw it right there. It shot straight back up in the air. Yeah. Kind of hard to see, but it shot up in the air, and the experts think that, it's an unmanned vehicle, they believe. It could be a drone, but they do not know of anything like this